the more we hold on, the more painful the process is going to be. If you find that you're having trouble sleep at night, or you're constantly thinking of somebody that you haven't let go of, checking their social media maybe, or anytime something happens in your life, you feel like that's the first person you need to call, that's the first person you need to talk to, and you're left feeling like is something that you either don't want to do or maybe can't do, then this is the video that you need to listen to, because this will show you how to heal your broken heart. This is going to show you how to release somebody, how to become free, and how this will completely transform your life, both on the inside because you'll feel differently, and then on your outside as well, because then you'll actually make energetic space and room for somebody else to come in. So for this, let's first off understand that all pain comes and suffering comes from attachment. This is something that the Buddha said. This is something that we must first realize. And the first thing we must do in order to really let someone go is understand and accept that it has happened. That's the first thing. I'm going to share with you different things. I'm also going to do something different where I go through different articles on how to let someone go so you don't have to, but I'm going to show you what's bullshit and what I believe actually does work. And we're going to go through this together, and I'm going to take you on this journey of, so you really understand what you can do to change everything. But the first thing that really changes everything is acceptance, because when you accept that something's happened, you're then able to really look at reality for the way it is. If we don't accept it, then we fight for it. And a lot of times, if you're having trouble letting someone go, maybe initially there's a challenge with not even accepting that it has become the reality. And once you accept it and you just allow it to be there and you allow yourself to be with the emotions you feel, that's when things really can begin to change. Now, the thing that, let's go through some of these articles and look at what it says about letting go. Now, one of the things that I've noticed too, that these articles say more than anything else, it says don't look at their social media. And I found that is absolutely true. If you are having trouble letting someone go, it might be because you're continuously filling up your thought realm with those thoughts of that person. And when you consistently think of someone, first off, this is the other thing. When you consistently think of someone, you are sending them energy. You are energetically thinking of them. You're energetically sending their energy. And what you want to do is the opposite of that. You want to pull your energy back. You want to pull your energy back by stop giving the attention towards them all of the time. I've also seen this happen so often in relationship dynamics in general, when someone is really, really thinking of someone and they really hope something goes well, and maybe they're going through a breakup. When they finally stop thinking about them and they put their attention on themselves, or even hang out with friends or something else, it's like that other person can feel it. And then all of a sudden their attention goes, where is the attention you've always given me? Because a lot of times too, the people that feel that, they feel suffocated with attention. So when you stop giving it, then it gives them room to breathe. But the reason you're going to do this is not because then you're going to get them to come back to you. The reason you're going to do this is because putting the energy on you is where the energy should be from the beginning anyways. Where you first off fill up your cup before you fill up someone else's. So the first thing you want to do in this whole process is, of course, accept. But the second thing is you want to pull your energy back. And the way you pull your energy back is you have to be honest with yourself with where you're putting your attention. And when you think of them, don't beat yourself up. Don't think there's something wrong with you. There's not. But you want to pull your attention back to yourself and realize some things I'm going to share later, which I think will change everything about this. But I have found that to be true. I remember when I went through a breakup a year or two ago, one thing that really, really helped, 2 years ago, I went through a breakup. And there's a lot of parallels to this where I'm sharing with you what I've learned from this for my own journey, but also this is what allowed me to attract my girlfriend. Letting go has allowed and made space for her to actually come in. But for a long time, I felt blocked. I felt stuck. I was going back and forth with old relationship dynamics of trying to force something to work. And Taoism is all about going with the flow. Taoism is about surrendering to the universe, surrendering to the stream. There's a quote that says something like, one of the things that will drain your energy more than anything else is going against the flow of a current. So if you're trying to hike up the flow of the river, you're going to release and exert so much energy that it's going to leave you tired. It's going to leave you not having that energy. So what you want to realize is that this can be really simple, and the power of letting go will transform your life. Now, the Taoism Principles, there's 4 of them. In general, they are the principles of Lao Tzu, and they are timeless and ancient principles that are found to be very powerful. I'd say if you look to my YouTube channel and you look at, I've got hundreds and hundreds of videos on letting go, and the reason I think it resonates with so many people is because letting go is so simple, yet it is so powerful. And it changes everything when you begin to do it. So some of the teachings are simplicity, patience, compassion. These are some of the virtues of letting go that you can begin to look at. Simplicity, patience, compassion. The second, going with the flow. It says, when nothing is done, nothing is left undone. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. So it's really going with the flow of things, accepting things, and not trying to fight the universe of where things are going. Now, letting go. If you realize that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. This is one of the biggest things. Now, the 4th one is harmony, but let's focus on the 3rd one. Letting go. If you realize that all things change, there's nothing you will try to hold on to. One of the reasons letting go of someone is so hard is because one of the strongest human virtues therein is, or values there is the craving for certainty. This is something Tony Robbins talks a lot about. He talks about the 6 human needs, which are certainty, uncertainty, growth, contribution, significance, and connection. These are the 6 human needs. Now, in the values. Now, one of the things is many of us value certainty. And the certainty is maybe a familiar relationship. Maybe it's a familiar person. And by letting go of that person, we are letting go of the certainty, which brings us a sense of familiarity. The challenge with this is that sometimes the thing that makes us feel certain may even bring us pain. So what you want to look at with this person that you are letting go of is, was there more pleasure and flow there, or was it more pain, trying hard, really having to fight for things to work? Because one is going with the flow and one is going against the grain. And once you start becoming aware of this, you can start to be honest with yourself to see that maybe the certainty you feel with this person is a certainty and a familiarity that came because it's felt familiar since childhood. So a quick reminder as well is, with all the craziness happening in the world, we are going to be rising above it energetically in a 3-day Own Your Vibe challenge that starts on March 18th, 19th, and 20th. This is a 3-day transformational experience. It is absolutely free. And I'm going to be going live on YouTube. I'm going to be going live, and there's going to be a challenge, like a high vibe group. We're going to be going through a process of transforming our vibration from the inside out. And the main focus of it is going to be get in our own frame, getting in our own body, embodying who we really came here to be, and so that we can set boundaries easily. We can be leading in our own life and in our own frame, and not diffusing our energy out to everything that's happening in the world, other people's emotional state. And we're going to learn how to raise our vibe and then keep it high. So if you want to join the Own Your Vibe challenge, we're starting soon, March 18th, 19th, and 20th. There's only so many spots available, but it is completely free. So click the link below, grab your spot, and I'm looking forward to see you on those 3 days of transformation. This is when it goes a step deeper, because sometimes we fight for people to stay in our lives because they remind us of childhood dynamics that feels familiar. So maybe you can look at this person that you're intending to let go of. Can you see that there is some type of childhood dynamic that you also had with a parent? For me, the way this looked was, growing up, I felt like I was emotionally abandoned. And I felt like in a moment, I felt like I had to prove my love, or that I was worthy, or I had to try to fix. If I could fix everything in my house, then everything would be perfect. My parents divorced when I was 5, very common story. My mom went through a lot of stuff when I was 1 or 2 years old, when her dad died. So in that moment, I started to feel the anxiety. I started to feel things were wrong, and I felt, and I internalized it. And that's what happens when we're kids. We internalize things, and I felt like there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm unlovable. Maybe I need to be differently in order to be loved. And what happened is, what made it a lot easier for me to let go in past relationships, and especially my past relationship, was realizing that the pain I was feeling wasn't even, it was rooted in also the childhood dynamic. And that's what was making it even more challenging to let go of. The childhood dynamic of me trying to prove myself, of me attracting people that were reflecting back that there was a belief that I wasn't worthy. And once I acknowledged that, everything began to change. What if the letting go of someone, and the reason it's so hard is because there's an attachment to a familiar energy that is reaffirming a limiting belief. It's reaffirming that says, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, because maybe that feels safe. This is something else that I had to realize. I had to be honest with myself, because I realized that I was attracting people that were emotionally unavailable because I was emotionally unavailable. And that felt safe and comfortable. And I had to look at this. And that's really when I started to wake up to the hypnosis I was in of trying to fight for familiar patterns, familiar energy dynamics. So when it comes to the Taoist rules of healing and of letting go, it's about not going against the grain. It's about going with the flow. It's about acceptance. It's about patience. It's things that sometimes we don't want to hear in the moment because we're just trying to fix it. But I promise you that letting go is one of the most powerful things you will ever do. And it will make the letting go of someone so much easier when you begin to accept, you begin to make the choice also to let go. That's another part that we'll talk about in a minute. Now, there's actually an amazing article that I've read before, and it's by a guy. He wrote the book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And he has this book, and it's all about letting go, not caring, not being attached to what other people think. Basically, it's a book that the reason it's hard for us, the reason we stay attached to things and we desire and we're trying really hard to get people to like us is because we value things we shouldn't value. It's not that we shouldn't give a fuck about everything or anything. It's just that we give a fuck about the wrong things. We really care what someone thinks about us. We really want their validation. And because of that, we then fight for things in our life when actually the answer is for us to get clear on who we are and what we really desire and to stop caring about the wrong things. So part of sometimes the reason letting go can be hard is because also we've tied and we want someone else's validation or approval. And that's what we're fighting for. It's like if we can get somebody if we can prove ourselves to somebody and get them to choose us, then we'll finally feel like we're good enough. We'll finally feel worthy. And we're fighting for someone else's validation and approval because maybe we didn't feel like we got it when we were kids. So something that will make it very easy to let go is to become aware of these different energies. When I became aware of this energy within myself, it changed so much because then I realized it doesn't have as much as I thought to do with the specific person and all these things. It has more to do with my own trauma wounds within myself, my own attachment to proving that I'm good enough. And a lot changed when I became aware of it and I started choosing myself. See, a lot of times it's hard to let someone go because we've put a lot of energy into someone else and we want their validation or their approval. But what happens is we've already initially abandoned ourselves. What do we really want? Why are we allowing maybe somebody to not choose us or to not maybe to treat us a certain way? But when we take our energy back, everything in our life begins to change. So there's an article by that guy named Mark Manson, and it's on letting go. And one thing it says is it talks about how to let go. And one of the things it says is every loss is a partial loss of who you are. So one of the reasons it is so hard to let go of someone else is because we've identified with someone else, and there's a part of them that we feel like there's a part of them that if we let them go of, we're letting go of a part of ourselves, and we're afraid to let that go. Now, really what letting go is letting go is a letting go of meaning. This was a game changer when it came to letting go. Now, the reason it's hard to let go is because there's so many reasons we should hold on. We believe if we hold on, we'll get what we want. We'll remain in the certainty or whatever it is. But the key to this is understanding that all this is this is a letting go of meaning. Everything in life has no built-in meaning other than the meaning we give it. Think about this. If you have, if a dog passes away, for example, it's always sad, right? It's always sad if a dog passes away. Also, it depends on the person, because some people may not disagree with that, or may disagree with that and think that it's not sad because of the meaning they give it. But what makes it even harder if a dog passes away is if it's your dog. If it's a dog you have many memories with. If it's a dog you have lots of meaning, lots of connection points with, and literally you can feel like if a dog passes away, you can feel like you've lost a part of yourself. And the reason being is because you've created connection, you've created meaning with that dog. Now, in the same way, but there may be another dog where it passes away and it's sad, but not nearly as gut-wrenching sad as if your dog passes away. What is the difference? The difference is the meaning, the memories, and in the memories there's meaning. So very important quick reminder is that every single Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 12 o'clock Eastern Time, we come together for a live meditation, a live teaching, and a live Q&A here on this YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I highly recommend joining one of those. There's an energy that grows every single week when we do it. And we not only change our own lives by tapping into this group collective energy, but it's changing the energy of the planet. So if you want to join in on this, if you want to experience it, then hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell so that you can get notified when we go live every single Sunday. And there's identity that's mixed in there as well, and that makes it even harder. But what will make letting go a lot easier is becoming aware of the meaning you are giving to someone else. The meaning you are giving away. And really, when it comes to breakup, letting someone go and healing the broken heart, what you're doing is you're pulling back the meaning you've given. And when you pull back the meaning, and even the stories, a lot of times there's stories there. This person was the one person that's meant for me. If I can't make it work, it means I'm not worthy. Whatever those meanings were, where it's almost like I'm afraid to let that go. But realize when you let it go, when you finally make the choice, it may feel somewhat empty for a period of time. And that's what people are afraid of. They're afraid to feel empty. But what if that emptiness was just space? What if in the emptiness, you would then attract someone else that could actually come into your life? Because I'll tell you what, when you are attached to someone else, there is no room for anybody else to come into your life. If you're attached to a past ex, I know I even have friends right now that are like connected to each other, and it's very obvious that either they have to figure it out and make it work with each other or not, but regardless, they're going to remain in that energy dynamic until they make a choice. But they're not going to allow anything new in. No way. How can you allow something new in when you're already attached to something else? So one of the things you really want to become aware of is what is the meaning you are given away or you're afraid to let go of. And realize this, you can create new meaning. Things aren't meaning, because you take away the meaning of something or you start questioning it or looking at it from this perspective, doesn't mean there's no meaning to life at all. It means that you can put that meaning into something else. One thing that often helps with people with breakups and healing their broken hearts is looking at the meaning and then choosing to put that back in the self. I've seen people go through breakups and then they decide to start their business. They start to go after their passion. They start focusing on their own emotional growth, emotional healthiness. They start transforming their life from the inside out, or they start going and picking up a new hobby, or there's so many things you can do to create a new sense of meaning in your life. And when you do that, everything in your life will begin to transform. I remember back in 2017, maybe a year or two before that, I went through a breakup. But I remember that there was a period of time when I felt empty. But eventually, I started putting all my energy into making videos and to my passion, and my life completely transformed. And within 3 to 6 months, and it was because the meaning I was putting into something that actually fueled me. And guess what? It was also then I was in a more authentic expression of who I prefer to be. So I attracted relationships that were also more in alignment. Like before that, I've always said this before, but I realized that when I worked 9-to-5 jobs I hated, I attract girlfriends that also work 9-to-5 jobs they hated. When I started doing what I love, I started attracting people that also do what they love, both friends and in relationships. My girlfriend does what she loves. I do what I love. It's like it's always a one-on-one reflection. So realize that when you're being the most authentic you're more likely to attract somebody that's being the more likely version of them that is also going to resonate with you. So that's one of the things that now there's also, he explains in this article, he says toxic versus healthy relationship. A toxic relationship is when two people are emotionally dependent on each other. That is, they use each other for approval and respect that they are unable to give themselves. The approval and respect they are unable to give themselves. A healthy relationship is when two people are emotionally interdependent with each other. That is, they approve and respect each other because they approve and respect of themselves. Do you guys see the difference there? I think a lot of times when it's really hard to let someone go, there's a lack of respect and approval that they're giving to themselves, and that's why it makes it so hard. Because the other person is literally the source of power. It's the source of love. It's the source of it all. But there's a recognition here that I think you can make that will change everything. And that is learning to let go of the toxicity. Letting go of the addiction to the toxicity. Maybe there's an addiction there. And it's like fighting and not letting someone go is fighting for that addiction. It's fighting for the toxicity because it feels familiar. We many times will try to recreate similar childhood dynamics because they feel familiar from the past. They feel familiar from what we used to experience. You know, there's also, I'm going to go through one of these articles here in a minute and read a little bit of it. But also I want to share this. There's a show that I've been watching lately. So there's a show that I've been watching called The Boys. Now, this is a show about superheroes, what would really happen if we had superheroes, and they're extremely narcissistic. It's very fascinating to watch. And my girlfriend and I just got done watching it. I've already seen it, but it was my second time watching it. But as I was going through it, I was noticing how well the characters have this backstory that leads to them become who they are. One of the main characters in the show, without giving away too much of it, he is this really, really nice guy that goes through this transformation of becoming more and more centered on himself, becoming more and more masculine. And the beginning of the whole series, what happens is he's getting ready to move in with his girlfriend, and he's having this lovey conversation with his girlfriend. And what happens is his girlfriend is like on the ledge of the sidewalk, and all of a sudden, he's left with his girlfriend's hands like there, and she just explodes because this guy whose superpower is being able to run extremely fast ran through his girlfriend, and his girlfriend exploded in front of him. There's blood everywhere. It's crazy. But anyways, he is so distraught about this, and he's in so much pain that he gets together with these other dudes that go to try to take out these superheroes who are extremely narcissistic and ran by the government, like all this crazy stuff. But anyways, it's a crazy story. But one of the things that he talks about, and one of the reasons he's so needy, is because he talks about it one of the last episodes of the second season. He says, he talks about his mom, and his mom left when he was 6 years old. And when his mom left when he was 6 years old, he had only one or two good memories with his mom, but one of them was Billy Joel was playing. So he's always playing Billy Joel, and it's his favorite music because it reminds him of his mom. His dad is the nicest guy in the world. He's a nice guy who babies his son, who just watches TV all day and is like really soft and nice and doesn't really believe in Huey. But Huey goes through a transformation as he's like fighting these superheroes and stuff. But anyways, one of the things he realizes is that his mom left when he was 6. And when his mom abandoned him, he made the choice that I'm not going to abandon anyone else. So I'm going to stick through this relationship no matter what. Because he didn't want to be like his mom. He didn't want to abandon someone else. And what that meant was that he was then becoming needy in relationships. And he was trying to make everything always work out at the expense, not even realizing that sometimes it might even become toxic. But he's stuck in no matter what. And in one way, in the show, it's actually somewhat of a positive thing because it glues this crew together. And a lot of these things can also be positive things sometimes. Like, I know that me fighting for that YouTube $1 million plaque thing, the $1 million or the 1 million subscriber plaque thing, there was a part of me growing up that I didn't feel worthy, or I didn't feel like I was enough. And I felt like if I could add value to so many people out there and I didn't get people's approval and validation, and I would finally feel enough. And what I had to eventually become aware of is like, that doesn't equal happiness. Not only does it not equal happiness, but like once I got the plaque, I felt kind of empty. Why? Because this thing I gave so much meaning to, all of a sudden I have, and now it's like I feel empty. So it's a similar thing. It's like an emptiness of meaning. But in a way, the trauma of not feeling good enough, or of feeling shame, or of wanting to prove myself to so many people, it may have served some purpose, because there's 2,000 YouTube videos out there that have reached many people. But the idea is you don't want to stay there. I was talking about this with my girlfriend last night, because we were talking about Huey's backstory and stuff like that. And it's interesting, but in the same way, he's becoming aware of now that he wants to stand on his own 2 feet towards the end of season 2. But the thing is we all have these backstories that represent how we show up in the world now. It's interesting too. Homelander is the villain who is the good superhero in the media and everything, but he's actually a horrible, crazy narcissist who has the most crazy superpowers. He can fly. He's got laser eyes. He can see through things. He can hear from far away. He is just incredibly strong, but he's also one of the most hardcore narcissists you've ever seen, one of the most evil people you've ever seen. But he's pretending to be good, and the public likes him and all this stuff. Now, the interesting thing is his childhood, it's a similar villain backstory that you'll see in almost every movie that you watch. He was grown in a lab because of this stuff called Compound V. That's how they make superheroes, with this like injection stuff. He was built in a lab, and he never had a mom or a dad. He was built in a very cold environment. Because of that, he craves significance. He craves people's attention and approval, and he doesn't even know what love is, because he's never experienced love. And that might be why he's a narcissist. You look at the difference between Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort. Harry Potter got the love from his mom, even though his mom died. Lord Voldemort despised his mom because his mom was a muggle. Or maybe his dad was a muggle. I forget. But anyways, he never received the love from his mom and his dad. And that's what led to him being the narcissistic, crazy, power-hungry guy. So what you want to do is you want to look at your own backstory. And you can heal from it. And you can realize that if your mom left you, your dad left you, realize it's not your fault. You don't have to internalize it anymore. Those things happened, but it doesn't have to mean that that is who you are, or that's like, that was one thing that was very healing for me on letting someone go, is I realized that the same energy dynamic that I'm having trouble letting go of is because I'm trying to prove myself to someone else, because if I can fix them or prove to them that I'm good enough and get them to come around, then I'm releasing the shame or whatever it is of other people finding out I'm not good enough. So one of the things that really changed everything was when I realized that growing up, my mom's stuff, my dad's stuff had nothing to do with me. It wasn't because I wasn't worthy or wasn't good enough. That was their stuff to deal with. And once I realized that, so much of my life began to change. The next thing that I began to do is I began to focus more of the attention on myself. I began to go with the flow, and I accepted what had happened. And then what I did is I began to bring the energy and pull the energy back inside my own body. I began to do things that I wanted to do, and even express myself in ways that were maybe more polarizing, but they were more authentic. And that meant that I set boundaries with some friends that I never set boundaries with before. That meant, and as every time I made a choice to do something for myself, it was like I felt more empowered. So the thing that I encourage you to do is to look at these aspects of yourself and start to choose you. And as you start to choose you, then start to open up your own heart. As you open up your heart, you'll notice that a lot begins to change in your life. That really, as cheesy as it sounds, that was the key to me attracting my girlfriend, is I had to let go, and I had to open up my heart, and I had to be willing to go into the unknown of like emotional availability, because that was unfamiliar to me at that point, because I was so emotionally unavailable and I wasn't used to it. But that's what really changed everything, was when I opened up my heart. Now let's look at this article I found just online by, it says how to let go of someone. So the first thing it says is make peace with what happened between the two of you. Letting go means facing and accepting reality of what transpired between the two of you, no matter how hard a challenge it may seem. Whether this person's broken your heart, betrayed your trust. That's another thing in of itself too. Sometimes if somebody betrayed you, there's like a betrayal energy there, because that also might feel familiar. Maybe your dad left your mom, or your mom left your dad. Maybe you felt like your parents left you, and there's a feeling of betrayal there. And what you can become aware of is that the betrayal may have nothing to do with you. It's not because you're not worthy. It's not because you're not good enough, but healing from the sense of betrayal, because the betrayal also has a story that somebody is doing something to me, that I'm a victim. And what happens is once that story is on autopilot, you'll attract other people to take advantage of your energy. You'll attract other people that remain in that energy. So that's something else you want to become aware of. Now, the second thing this says is don't look at their social media. That is so true. It really does help. The less energy you're sending towards them, the more you're bringing the energy back to yourself. The less you're being reminded, the better. Because then you're not feeding the hamster wheel of that momentum. And what I did is I'm still good friends with my ex, but what I did is we muted each other on social media so we didn't see each other's stuff. That really helped, because then I was never seeing it, never being like re-invoking those memories and stuff like that. Very beneficial. There's something they also have called no contact. This is very well known when it comes to letting someone go. Non-contact is another way you could do that, which is where you maybe block them on your phone. You close a container for a specific period of time. I've seen people do that. It's like for 2-3 months, we're not going to talk at all. But then in 2 or 3 months, we'll talk. Or you just completely cut it off if you know it's toxic. Depends on you and your honesty with yourself. So I found that to actually be powerful. Third thing it says is look for ways to improve your own life. I'd say that's true. That's another way of that being said is look for ways of putting meaning into new things in your life. A new hobby. Going after your passion, maybe establishing a better relationship with your family or people already in your life, and looking at these things will make you feel more alive. It will make you feel more like excited to be around. So, 4, recognize you're not alone. That's what this article says. When you're trying to let go of someone, it's uncommon to feel an overwhelming sense of loneliness and isolation. However, you can reach out to friends and stuff like that. I'm not that I'm going to argue with this, but I think let it be okay. There's nothing wrong with being alone. And there is a difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone is not a negative thing. Being lonely is a feeling of separation from source. It's a feeling of separation. Alone is when you can be comfortable being alone, being in your own energy. I'd recommend that you do take a space of being single as well in between relationships. Because when you become very comfortable with yourself and being alone, you're going to start to have more of a sense of self-worth. And then you also take out the scarcity of believing that there's something wrong with you or believing that like you need somebody else. That's the dependency. That's the toxicity that we're talking about. That is between toxic relationship and healthy relationship. So I do agree with that, but also don't let it be a bad thing that you are alone. And if you're feeling lonely, ask yourself, why am I feeling lonely? And the 5th thing it says is have high hopes for the future. Have high hopes for the future. Letting go of someone is an act of courage and strength. That is true. And there's someone else out there. Realize when you say no to something that's toxic, you are then able to say yes to something that is healthy. And that you are worthy of love, affection, attention. But in order to receive that, you must first give yourself the love, the attention, and the affection. And these are all things. Now, when it comes to the Taoist principles, realize that letting go allows you to let in. Letting go allows you to let in, and that when you really let go of somebody else, you are insane. And when you also say no to something else, you are saying yes to something else other than that. This is always a game of choice. But realize that most of what this is you are letting go of meaning and trusting that the universe has something in store for you that may be even better than you can imagine. A lot of times that holds people up in relationships as well. They think that this one person, they put it on a pedestal and they think this one person, and they give it a story and say, this is this kind of person, and there's this heavy story to it. So to let that go is to let go of all of that. And one of the things the ego really wants to do is the ego wants to be right. And that's one of the biggest challenges, because it's like, I was right about this. I don't want the time that I've invested. I don't want to accept that time was wasted. And a lot of people are afraid that if they let go of someone, then it means they're never coming back or they're never going to get the love. And it can only be further from the truth. When you let go of someone else, you will find that so much in your life begins to change because you call your energy back. Even in that movie, that show, The Boys, there was this one guy, his name's Frenchie, he's this French guy, and there's this girl, this girl that's like doesn't speak English. I think she's like Korean, and this whole entire like season is trying to help her, fix her. She doesn't speak English, she speaks in sign, and she's a superhero too that like tears people's heads off and shit. It's pretty crazy. But the whole entire time he's trying to fix her, and one of the reasons he's trying to fix her is because he feels if he can fix her, then he could fix his past and all the bad things that he's done. And because he's trying to fix her and because he's chasing her and everything, she likes him, but she's feeling that resistance from him. Towards the end of that season, he's like, I have to let you go because I can't fix you. There's nothing to fix with you. I'm realizing I'm trying to fix you for my own selfish needs because I want to feel good enough. And once he makes the choice to let go, it's like she's holding his hand. She is so much more into him. It's how it really works. Let go, you will get your energy back, and then you can then choose things in your life, and it'll make it so much easier to heal your broken heart. The only reason you have a broken heart is because there's a sense of there's the meaning that you're giving, and the meaning is where the pain is. The more you hold on, the more pain there is. Make the choice to let go by realizing all this is you're afraid of letting go of meaning. You're afraid of letting go of certainty. And once you realize that you just go with the flow of the universe, realize that there's 8 billion people out there in the world, and putting all your eggs in one basket is very limiting, and realize that you came here to be in your own frame. You came here to lead in your life in a very powerful way. And as you do that, you'll find that you feel way more empowered and things in your life happen easier than ever. Now, one of the most powerful videos I have on YouTube is on healing codependency, healing those toxic relationships and feeling 100% worthy, whole, and complete. Check that video out here. It will build on everything you're learning in this video and make the process so much easier. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you the cure to codependency, how to never be needy again. I'm going to share with you also my journey through this process, what I've learned about the inner child, how you can heal